Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. My name is Dave, DNA Realty Group. If you've been following me, if you're a realtor, obviously we're going through the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, okay? Written by Gary Keller, Dave Jenks, and Jay Papasan. And now we're going to go into chapter number 8, the economic model, okay? We talked about the 4 models. Let's break them down. Now, think of your economic model as a formula that describes the way your business works. It is your equation for success. Essentially, the economic model describes the relationships between a series and the specific outcomes they produce, a series of activities and the specific outcomes that they produce. Actually, you can work the formula in reverse just as easily. If you start with an outcome, it will dictate the specific actions you must take to produce the result that you seek. Now, this book is very specific. Millionaire Real Estate Agent, right? That's the goal. If you go back and look at the previous chapters, if you go back and look at my previous videos, you can see how I personally started out in the business, cold calling, broke as a joke, and now I have a business that is almost at $1 million business, right? So in 2020, we grossed over $750,000 in GCI, okay? So obviously my business is growing. Obviously what I did over the last 10 years has worked, and obviously it's been slow and steady, and I built my foundation completely. So let me just help you understand this book. I get it. There are some people that get into the business and just take off. I am not one of those people. For me, everything has been hard. Everything has been an uphill battle. And I'm trying to sit here and show you exactly what to expect to grow your business. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So, now, whether you realize it or not, you have an economic model. Every business does. Every real estate agent does. The issue is not about having the economic model. Rather, the issue is whether you understand the one you have and whether it can get you the net income you want. A sound economic model should do 3 basic things for you, okay? Let's talk about it. Show you where your money comes from, which is your gross revenue. Show you where your money goes, that's number 2, which is your expenses, and show you how much is left, which is your net income. Let's just talk about this for a second. When we were new in the business and we were doing, let's say, less than 18 deals, we didn't have a lot of expenses. You should not have a lot of expenses in the beginning of your career, okay? Everybody says spend money. Forget about it. You shouldn't have expenses because to do 18 to 20 to maybe even 30 to 40 to 50 deals a year, all you have to do is be a walking, talking billboard. That is zero expense formula, okay? Let's continue. As your business grows, however, you will have to spend some money. You will have to hire people. You will have to know your economics of your business and where the money comes from, where the money goes, and hold your money accountable. Okay, that's the economic model. This is the basics, and this is basic economics, and it sounds very simple, but in actuality, most people follow very unsound economic models, right? Most people just blow through their money. They don't know where it comes from. They don't know how they get their business. They just don't understand, and they don't plan. Most realtors, we get into the business because you want to be independent. To be more independent, you have to run your business like a business, point blank. There is no other way. There is no other way. Okay, number 1, people aren't sure where their money will come from. Number 2, they're not sure which costs are critical and which ones are not. And number 3, they can't be sure how much will be left at the end of the year. See, in my business, I know exactly how much I'm going to make. I know exactly where my money's coming from. I know exactly, what we're spending and where we're spending it, and I'm constantly evaluating and reevaluating, and that's what makes DNA Realty Group one of the most successful companies as we're constantly growing. The key areas of your economic models are, okay, number 1, focus on the numbers you must hit, okay? The greatest thing your economic model will tell you is what numbers you must hit in order to net the income you want to receive, okay? It's pretty simple. We're going to go over the numbers you must hit. It's the same for buyers and the same for sellers. Here's the formula. I suggest you get this book so you can follow me on it. Okay. Let me take a sip of my coffee while I talk to you. If anybody's following this and you want the DNA mug, go ahead and comment below, and you can stop by the office and pick up a mug. Tell them Dave sent you. I'll only open that offer to 3 people. Okay, 3 people. Say you watch chapter number 8 video. I want a mug, please. This mug will make you into a millionaire. This is $1 million mug right here. Live your dream, baby. All right, so the numbers you must track are seller listing appointments, conversion rates, seller listings taken, conversion rates, sellers sold, your average sales price, seller sold volume, your commission, and your gross revenue from sellers. You do the same thing for buyers, okay? Then you take your total gross revenue minus your expenses, which gives you your net income. Now, what I find with most businesses, when my brother and I sit there and somebody comes into the office and they say, how many appointments do you have? How many listings did you take? How many contracts do you have? We know everything in our business. I have somewhere I could look it up. Before it was big enough where I needed to look it up, I've known exactly everything I had to know in my business. I've known all the numbers. I've known how many calls I had to make. I knew I had to make at least 100 calls. I knew I had to call for at least 4 to 5 hours. I knew I had to talk to at least 20 to 40 people. I knew all these things. I knew that would get me a certain results. I knew that would get me a certain commissions. Everybody's numbers are different, and the reason why is, number 2, you have to focus on appointments, okay? Appointments to make listing presentations to sellers and buyers, okay? You have to be out there and you have to know what appointments you need to get the results you want, okay? Appointments drive your income. If you don't have appointments, you don't have a business. So you have to be out there on appointments. I know a lot of people say, like, this buyer isn't qualified, this seller isn't qualified. Well, everybody is more qualified than you sitting at the office telling me who's not qualified. So get out there and go meet people face to face and talk to them and help them, okay? And number 3, which is the most important, focus on conversion rates, skill level. In my personal book, and I've had this book probably for over 7 years, skill level, DM, that's my initials. When I was calling all the time, especially before my business grew, I've been calling for 7 years, 8 years, nonstop, 5 hours a day, nonstop, no problem. Rolled up my sleeves. My sleeves are clearly still rolled up, as you can see in the video. I know there's people listening to this on the podcast. Conversion rates. Just because you go on appointments doesn't mean anything. You have to know how many appointments are you actually converting to contracts, how many contracts you actually bring into the closing table. Because if you get 20 contracts, I promise you not all 20 of them are going to close, right? So you got to know your numbers. And it sucks. Why does it suck? Because when you look at your numbers, it tells you the truth about your business. You might say, I take 100% of my listings, I take 100% of my buyers, and then you look at your numbers and you realize you're only taking 30%, or you're only taking 40%, right? Or what I realized was I only was taking like 70, 50% in some cases, and it was ridiculous. It was so sad. Conversion rates are important, okay? If you step back to look at your economic model, something should stand out big and bold to you. Converting leads to appointments and converting appointments to listings are huge drivers of your economic success. They are both accomplished by a skilled presentation with a firm grasp of scripts and dialogues. That's for people on my team and for anybody else out there. If you don't practice your scripts and dialogues, you don't know what to say, you don't know when to shut your mouth, you don't know when to speak, you don't know how to help people self-discover, you're not going to be very skilled in business. I think that's just like a fallacy to think you don't have to learn your craft. If you're in sales and you're competing against somebody like me who takes extreme pride in being a salesperson. I take extreme pride in actually helping my clients, and I take extreme pride in being the best negotiator for my clients. That's why if somebody works with us, they win, and if somebody doesn't work with us, they're just not as well off, okay? Because we're the best. Why are we the best? We're constantly learning, okay? Converting leads to appointments and converting appointments to listings are huge drivers of your economic success. They are both accomplished by a skilled presentation with a firm grasp of scripts and dialogues. If you can't make a convincing presentation, deliver purposeful scripts, or engage in effective dialogues, you won't be very successful, no matter how many leads you may have. So now your economic model, no matter how many leads you may have, let me just elaborate. We studied scripts and we learned how to talk to people and we learned how to become really good at it, right? To be able to help people to self-discover. We got really good at it. I have lots of leads now. My company's getting bigger and bigger by the day, it feels like. Yet I have some agents who convert better than other agents. And what do you think the difference is? Practice. You can't be in the business and not practice. You can't be in any business or anything or any endeavor and not practice. Practice makes perfect, right? If you practice, you get better. Let's keep going. So now your economic model has given you another gift. It has highlighted the key skills you must learn to be successful in real estate sales. The skills to convert leads to appointments and the skills to convert those appointments to listings. Make no mistake, mastering your presentation, scripts, and dialogues is what will drive your conversion ratios. I could give 100 leads to one person and I could give 100 leads to another person. And then in a week, I'll ask them both what happened. Or in a month or in 6 months, I'll ask them both what happened. And one person will come back to me and they're going to say, these leads suck. I closed nothing. Another person's going to come back to me and they're going to say, I closed 30 deals. And what is the difference? Do you understand that that is the most important? Your skill is very important. The amount of leads matters. But if you don't have the skill to close the business, you can get 1,000 leads, you can get 10,000 leads. You're just not going to be converting as well as you should be. And that is a wrap on the economic model. Obviously, we do business in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. If you got anybody you want us to help with their real estate needs, just go ahead and go to dna-realtygroup.com. I hope this was helpful to my realtor friends. Keep working hard. If you're in the beginning of your business, just remember, for me, it took a long time to really start becoming successful. It took about 7 to 10 years. The first 5 years, we had full-time jobs. Then when we left our full-time jobs, we were living in a one-bedroom apartment, ended up really, really broke, couldn't pay my bills. My kid was 2 or 3, something like that. I thought I was crazy. And then little by little, things started happening. We went forward. We kept going forward, and now our business is doing really, really well. And I'm growing just with you guys, growing this $1 million business, DNA Realty Group, right? We have people on our team. We have administrative staff. We're growing every single day. And I just want to let you know, wherever you are, if real estate is going to be your career, if this is what you're going to be doing, then take some time and invest in yourself. Go to seminars, learn, practice, study, do everything you have to do, and then at some point, you're going to make the money you want to make. I know everybody gets into real estate because it looks good. Well, let me just tell you something. I'll be the first one to tell you because I used to be a hairdresser and a barber, and that's what everybody said. You're good at talking to people. You're going to do great. Doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. It seems like a good idea. It seems like it's going to work. I love when people tell me, oh, I'm going to get into real estate. I've learned to shut my mouth and not say nothing. I just go, good job, go try it. Everybody should try it, right? It's one of those businesses that everybody thinks they can do. Everybody thinks they could do it better than you, but the proof is in the pudding. There is a 80 to 95% failure rate in real estate. Why do you think that is? Because people don't know how to talk to people? It has nothing to do with that. To be a professional and to run a professional business takes time. Make no mistake about it. This is probably one of the hardest businesses to be in. However, yes, it can be fruitful. Yes, you can succeed. But just know that for some of us, it's going to take time. If you go back and look at my videos, man, I've been doing this since before I had the gray hairs on my face. And it took me a long time. And now I'm coming out on the other side, right? The pendulum is swinging, baby. And I'm going to the top, and it feels incredible, and I'm making money. I got a car, I got a house, I got all these things I thought I would have year one. And that's what you have to realize. That's a wrap on the economic model. Just take your time. Don't focus on anybody else. Focus on you. If you're in a part of your business where you're making the calls, make the calls. If you're in a part of your business where now you're hiring people, hire people. If you're in a part of the business where you're growing the company, grow the company. But there are steps to a ladder. You got to step, just worry about your next possible step. And that's it.